started. So today we're going to have one of our woke conversations. Jalen and I started this morning talking about how things are hidden in plain sight, but people that deal third dimensional don't understand. They don't. So let's give an example of the vaccination, right? This is just my opinion. Everybody's, oh, you're going to be poisoned, you're going to be poisoned. Well, to my knowledge, all of them, from even when we were little, were poisonous. What's the difference? So, then, if somebody is telling you, I'm going to give you something pretty much that's going to poison you, wouldn't you think that that's not the problem? Wouldn't you think that that's a smokescreen of the very thing they're really trying to hide? If you think third dimensional, you'll look at what you see and assume that's the problem. Don't go to sleep on me. Sit up. You'll think that's the problem. But it's the thing that you don't see, that they're not talking about, which is the problem. So I'm going to tell you how this world is going to change. I'm going to make you stand.
What? I'm not even sleepy.
You're going to sleep. Okay. Okay. All right. I'll catch you. You doze one time. I'm going to have you stand up. Okay? So anyway, I've been saying it for years. And that's why the school is the way that it is. They're after the young people. We talked about this on Sunday. Why do you think they're after the young people? Why do you think they're after it? Jalen?
Because it could be some people who would grow up to cure cancer.
They could be your people that can cure cancer, your potential presidents, business companies, business owners, different things like that. But guess what? There's nothing new under the sun. Herod was a king. And he had ruled all those years. But he heard a baby was born. And that baby was going to be the new king eventually. Herod got so disturbed that he wanted all male children under 2 years old, because Jesus was 2, to be killed. Because he had the fear of him taking his place. That's what's going on. The reason why the young people are so targeted is old school don't want to let it go. They want to go. So what do? We attack the schools. The school system, the public school system, is less than 100 years old. They're seeing that it's not working. So they've tried to work this thing for 10 decades. John D. Rockefeller said, I would rather have workers than thinkers. So here goes the public school system. A lot of your teachers don't know that this is how this was created. If they will go back and look, they wouldn't even want to buy into a system like that. I'm going to teach you how to get up there and work 8 hours a day. I'm going to give you a lunch break. Then when you finish, and if you do a good job, I'm going to give you a promotion. So I'm going to promote you to the next grade. But I'm going to teach you what you can and cannot learn. Because if I teach you this way, I can control everything. But this generation is a generation of thinkers. Social media, they're able to take a phone and come up with creative ideas and make lots of money. They don't need school. They know how to budget their own money. They know how to do all this other stuff. So guess what? They don't need the traditional system. That's why we don't have a traditional system. Do I report to the Board of Ed for you guys? Yes, I do. Do I teach everything they tell me to teach from them? No, because their school system has failed. It has failed. So therefore, I come in and teach you what you're going to need to learn for life. If this world fell apart today and they shut down all the jobs and you needed to figure out how you were going to make it and you couldn't go out and get a job, do you have any type of skill that you can take, or are you going to have to sell yourself into slavery? How many of you know how to cook? How many of you know how to wash clothes? How many of you know how you can clean a bedroom or clean the floors? You see what I'm saying? You at least have that. But if you guys have any other skill, some of you know how to do hair. Some of you know how to fix cars, or some of you know how to do it's so many different things that you can do to make yourself marketable that you don't have to sell yourself into slavery. But a lot of people are not trained for that. They go for 12 years to learn how to get a job, to retire, and retire. You could kind of put it into the same as expire. I will never retire. Never. Because as long as I'm in my purpose and as long as I'm in my mission, I'll always be a part of it. Will I change how I work? Yes. But will I ever retire from purpose? No. I will not retire from purpose until I leave this earth. But they're giving you the wrong, I'm not giving you the wrong, but the people are giving you the wrong way of living. So most of the time, after kids graduate from high school, their biggest thing to do is to see how they can go and get a job. Why? Because for 12 years, they were conditioned to go and get a job rather than create one. So that's why I teach you here. Let's create something. This time around, when it comes to teachers, I will have teachers after my own heart. I don't want teachers that just want a job. I want teachers that want to help create jobs. That they'll teach you skill. That when you come in every day, here's this paper. Here's this. No, let's cook. Let's work on a project. Let's build something. Let's do something creative. Because when it's all said and done, at the end of the day, can you save somebody from learning how to calculate or do an alphabet? No. The reason why over the years, and I always do this, I have you guys cleaning and helping me. And you guys always wanted to, it wasn't for us. In Japan, do you know they don't hire janitors? They don't hire janitors. Their kids do everything. Do you know, even over in Japan, by the time their kids are 5 years old, their kids' parents can't walk them to school anymore? They go to school and they learn how to catch the train and everything on their own. And wonder why our society is so far behind in everything. Because everybody else all over the world is teaching their children how to be productive adults, even as children. And our adults still act like kids when they become adults.
I was going to say, it's this video, it's this TV show on Netflix about kids in Japan. The little boy looked about 3, and they sent him to the store.
Yes.
And he come back, and he go, he do everything by himself.
I was there. I've been there 5 times. I've been there when they get up in the morning to go to school. They have certain backpacks that they carry, so you'll know how old they are. You know, and what grade they're in. And they work together. You know, sometimes they walk together in packs, but their parents can only walk them so far. And then they do things on their own and wondering why. you can take and send them abroad. From the time that, you think about it, the reason why kids can't hear and talk, because the ear is a muscle. And the first thing that happens when the children are born, oh, you're so cute, it's so cute. No, communicate with him. Hey, how are you? Good morning, sweetheart. That's how you talk to babies, right? Mm-hmm. It is a muscle. If you talk baby talk and not complex talk, that muscle does not develop. So you have kids that have hearing problems and they can't talk. Because if you can't hear, you can't speak. So you have to teach them, and you have to develop their ear, their inner ear. I taught to my dog baby talk. I never taught to my son that way. So you can hear. So there's so many things, but today we're going to talk about the One World School. One World School. There's a book, and I talked about this often. In 2012, Bill Gates, who's actually, he's got the theory that pretty much there's too many people on the earth, so there needs to be some depopulation. So that's when it was coming, and basically they were saying, well, if you have immunizations and things like that, well, people won't get sick, so people can have less children. But then, also, they got it, well, this will be a natural sterilization. We'll give you this shot, and then you can't have children. But this is the crazy part. Before, in the past several years, this has been the agenda, right? But to my knowledge, over the past 20 years, infertility has been major. So if the vaccination was not in place in the past 20 years, why were people sterile or infertile, and why couldn't they have children?
They were already like that.
They were already like that. It's the food. It's different things like that. So what they want to do is push this agenda that this is the only thing that's happening, rather than looking at history.
Exactly.
Genetics, history, the food. They're not looking at any of that because they want people, it's called a smoke screen. Focus on this. I'm going to focus on this is what I'm going to do to you. And it's a whole depopulation thing. So now the people that didn't do it, it's still the vaccinated against the unvaccinated. Let me tell you this. The reason why I did it, I'm going to tell you right now, because I don't believe any vaccination saves you. I don't. But it was like a foretelling. I said, I have a child that lives in Japan. And if anything ever happens, I need to be able to get into that country. Well, a couple years later, something's going on with my son in Japan. I need to get on a plane to go into Japan. Guess what they said? In order to get in our country and be able to move about the way you need to, you needed to have 2 doses of the vaccination along with a booster. Now, some people probably got a chance to get into Japan and didn't have that problem. But for some of the places that I was going to, the embassies and different things like that, I needed it. So I was kind of preparing myself for next. Do I really believe that this stuff cures anything? No. Do I think your food will kill you faster than a vaccination? Yeah. Absolutely. Do I think that you can run out in front of a car? Or, now what's going on, you can have a whole lot of people that are not vaccinated, and active shooter come and show up. And what is the difference than that and the vaccination? It's a smoke screen. So the reason I'm putting out there, because there's been so much focus on that, and I'm trying to let you know anything could happen. Anything. We're heading into a cashless society by the end of the year. So a cashless society. So therefore, a lot of life is going to change for a lot of people. Regardless, people are going to die from starvation and a whole lot of other things. But it's a smoke screen. But in 2012, Bill Gates got together with a guy from Khan Academy, and he endorsed a book called The One World School. And in the One World School, this is what takes place. All over the world, the kids would be online. This was in 2012 that the kids would be online. They would have, the only way that they would be able to really do school safely is have schools like ours. The one room school. But this is the one world school. I'm away from the system. So I'm in a system within my own system. So if your parents never decided to vaccinate you, they don't have to. You don't have to have any vaccinations, but you're going to be clean. You can be vegetarian. It's so many different things that you can do that I will allow. The difference is I'm a believer. You're not going to come up in here with no mess. I don't play that. But I don't talk to you about sex. I don't. You guys laugh and joke and everything. We have all that fun stuff, but we just don't come right out and talk about it because I believe that's something that your parents should talk about. But I can bring things out in a way for you to understand how things work without getting so vulgar, where they're introducing pornography and things in other curriculums. I don't play that. So my makeup is totally different. It's almost like, but I've graduated 150 people. So it works. So now, the one world school is this. Say, for instance, and you look what happened with the pandemic. The whole entire world locked down. So people in Africa, Japan, they were all online, which was the beginning of something. Guess what? If you decide you want to take Japanese, they'll have a teacher pool, and all the teachers will submit their resume. So when you decide you want to take a Japanese class, you can sign up, and your teacher can come on from Japan. So you will be literally learning Japanese from Japan. Wouldn't you prefer to learn it that way? Rather than just somebody here just teaching you basic Japanese? But it's a one world school. And guess what? It's all done online. What did we do the whole time when we weren't able to meet? We cooked online. I came online on Zoom and I cooked with you guys during the summer. We cooked. We did classes. We still do it. We got a student here in Texas. We still do this to this day. This is where school is going to go. But guess what? People are fighting against it. So every time you look up, what is there? A school shooting. A virus. Why do you think we start after everybody else starts? Because I know this. At the beginning of the school year, going into August, there's a new virus coming out. Why not let everybody else get it out of the way? Let them get all the scare out of the way. Let them do all that other stuff, and then I'll come and start school. We don't deal with all those scares. We never miss our proms. We never miss our graduations. Everybody else misses out. We don't. Because I'm able to determine the times and seasons, and I'm able to watch. So therefore, you guys don't miss out. And another thing too, we talk about it. I let you guys talk about how you really feel. And I don't sugarcoat it. This is life. And that's why I let you guys watch The Matrix and The Truman Show and different things like that, because you're seeing AI is taking over. Artificial intelligence is taking over everything. They're getting it as to where now you don't even need a person, a human being to be with. You can go get a doll that has the same type of skin and everything that gives you, don't talk back, don't do nothing, but just serves you.
Game that, you remember Victor, right?
Yeah.
He plays this one game that is like this guy. Okay, what happens is the world is pretty much filled with a lot of AI. Like,
yeah.
The whole entire world. And it's almost like surrogates. Literally,
yeah.
Like surrogates. And all you do, everybody just, instead of like one of the guys in there, they were talking about, man, it's just so sad because all like one of the characters they were talking, he was completely human. He was talking about like it used to be all about having a family, so like now you just go and get a doll, like and another AI and stuff like that, and that's it. People are sick.
And it's the thing about it is, it causes you not to be able. You see this society. The biggest thing that you're seeing is there are no emotions. People have no emotions. Electronics and things like that can shut down your emotions. Do you know that even a lot of the medications and things like that can shut it down? If you decide, the reason why you have to be concerned about putting, I'll say this, controlling your birth, controlling about you having children. You put that artificial stuff in your body. So they're talking about immunizations, but they're talking about some people get full shots of their arms to shut down their reproductive systems and things like that so they don't have babies. But that literally shuts down your ability to express certain emotions and things like that. So when you do that, your body does not send a signal off to a potential partner that you're fertile. It shuts down your ability to produce, because it's basically saying that you're pregnant already. So if you have birth control, it says you're pregnant. It shuts down that body. So that chemical, that scent that goes out to tell a potential mate to come towards you because you're fertile, that's not there anymore. Women are having babies, have no emotional tie to them. They can just take and put them and set them somewhere. It's not even about now I can't afford it, I can't do anything. It's like, I just don't want to have a baby. Who does that? But it can come in the food. That's why I say watch a lot of the chicken. Definitely watch meat, milk. Definitely watch any type of dairy. You don't want to eat a lot of the stuff. They're shooting it up with the hormones and things like that. So that's why you can have a woman with a beard and a man with big breasts. Because we both have testosterone and estrogen inside of our bodies. And depending on what you're eating and what's coming out is what's going to be the hormone that you produce. Watch the when you have to become so masculine. That's why I'll tell you this, any given day, I have been on both sides of the fence when it came to sports, the basketball. Me, before that, super feminine, conservative, elegant, the whole nine. By the time I only own the teams. Before you know it, I'm wearing gym shoes, jogging suits, blue jeans. Never in my life had I did that. If I wore a jogging suit, if I did, I had heels on with it. Never gym shoes. I was just, too much over it. But before you know it, I started having bad headaches. My hormones were off, everything. Because basketball is a masculine sport. And in order to be able to keep your femininity, you got to bring the femininity. That's why our slogan was, we're going to beat you, but we're going to do it like a lady. And it wasn't that my boys were playing like men. It was just that women were coaching them and guiding them. So we were bringing some of the nurturing. You get out there and handle your business on the court, and we will nurture you to make sure you have everything else in order. That's it. And so guess what? So they wasn't coming back to some hard. They were coming back to something soft. So they could get out there and they can play and go hard on the court. And then when they come back, they will have a good home-cooked meal. And somebody encouraging them. And it balanced them out. So, not real. And there was a story in the Bible, even about Deborah, what they may call her. She's a prophet. And the people were about to go to war. And Barak, he was the leader of the army. He said, you have the word of the Lord in your mouth. And he said, I'm not going to battle unless you go. And Deborah said, now listen, we're going to go, but God is going to give the battle to a woman. You're going to win. It ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about that. You're going to win. But God is going to give the battle to a woman. And that's how it was with my teams. My teams always won. And we had women that were backing them. So what ended up happening is, Bayrak said, okay, fine. So what happened is Esther had her team of women. One woman was one of the king, he was hiding. She said, come here, let me hide you. Let me give you something to eat. Let me go in and take care of you in the tent. And lo and behold, he was the king. She killed him. God gave the battle to a who?
Checkmate.
A woman. It wasn't a man that got him. It was a woman that got him. She was able to use her femininity to draw him in.
And that's why I love chess.
And when she drew him in, yes, checks. A lot of times, the kings, the reason why chess was created, the kings were tired of having casualties. So what they would do is they sit down at a board and they play. That's why you got the rook, the knights, the kings, the queens. You got everything. The queen is the one. Yeah. And so what they did is, and whoever won during that time, and it shut down a lot of the casualties. A lot of this is straight strategic. So what's happening is, just going back to this with the school system, is they're going to get these schools online by any means necessary. It is time for people to recognize this. An administrator from a school system said, in his 45-year history, he have not seen these many people fail in reading and math. And it's not just the urban areas now. So what they're doing is they're taking and putting everybody on IEPs, even in wealthy areas. And then what they're doing is now, even in Florida, they did it, the government did it. Let's do the school choice and put the money towards a lot of the special education. Because now you can put it under the window of special education. And guess what you get a chance to do under that window? You get a chance to take your kids out of public school and put them in private schools if you want to. Or private homeschools if you want to. The governor wasn't stupid. He's moving the money away from the public schools. You know why? Because the public schools are less than 100 years old. And they're trying to change. They realize they have failed. So that's why now you don't need a teacher degree to teach. You can have a couple credit hours or what have you, and you can go in and be a paraprofessional. During the pandemic, they hired paraprofessionals. So guess what's happening? The school system is crumbling. But people are still hanging on to it. They're still hanging on to it. So, now, I have my rant, so do you have any questions? Yes. Okay. Okay, any questions? Not yet, not yet. Yes.
So you know how you said that they trying to down in on the population, but because it's too big. But in China, every one of us is 5 million more of them.
You should see they have a complex that's built all the way up, and it's 30,000 people that live in this like apartment building. It's this huge thing. So if it blows, it'll all go down. They just need one bomb to take everything down. Or I shouldn't say bomb, but one thing to just, you see what I'm saying? One earthquake, one hurricane, it doesn't matter.
It could be a natural disaster.
It could be natural, and it just take everybody down at one time.
Like, and then it's I learned this in my old school. If we ever go to war, we're gonna lose. Cause he said every one of us is 5 million more than them.
Well, see, this is the thing, not necessarily losing. We're trained. But unfortunately, we brought some of them over and trained them on how to defeat us.
Mainly Japan.
Mainly China.
Oh, really?
Yes. At Purdue University, Calumet, 30% of their engineering program were from China. They brought them over and they taught them what to do.
We're done for.
If there's going to be any type of war, it'd be right in your own country. Now, your own country. Look, what is the country doing now? Training Japan to fight. You're teaching them to defeat us.
See, I feel like America is in their right mind. I'm not gonna call them dumb, I'm not gonna call them stupid because I wouldn't be able to control them. I can't. My mind can just.
Their agendas are wrong.
Exactly.
They have self-serving agendas. When you become a politician or you get into something like that, it's supposed to be about the people, not about you. You're a civil servant. You are supposed to serve other people.
That's what you see in most of the movies too. Whenever they talk about the president or something like that, or somebody in high power or something like that, they always care about themselves. Like,
Yeah.
Get me out of here before everybody else.
Yeah, and it's not supposed to be that way. Your whole thing is supposed to. You're supposed to care about the people.
You're put in that position is to care for us. That's
Right.
the whole reason why.
I remember in doing this, even when I started the school, when I had the daycare and everything. Do you know how many vacations I did not take? Because
I know so many people who
I needed to
go
be
one day
here
and
for
then
my kids. I need to be here for my parents. So I've been doing this over 30 years. And I can literally count on two hands how many vacations that I've really taken. And then I can't even call them vacations because being a business owner, well, even when I would go to Japan, I always had, when I was supposed to have been sleeping, the school was up and running at times, and they would need me. So while I'm supposed to be sleeping, the school is a 14-hour difference. I would be talking to the students or talking to the teachers when I should be sleeping. So I would never rest. Could never get any rest. So, but it was because I was not concerned about having an empire. I was concerned that the kids that I have under me were safe. That's more than anything. When you're safe and you know you're safe, you'll learn. When your environment is set, it's not always about somebody teaching you. When your environment is set, you'll want to learn different things. You'll want to have discussions. You'll want to talk. You'll feel open to say things when you feel your environment is set. But when your environment is self-serving, they just only want to serve themselves. It's not about you. I mean, it's not about the people that you're serving. Then nobody wants to open up. And before you know it, that's why we never really had we didn't have fights or anything. Because I was about the kids. I was about whether it was teenagers. That's why I don't do bullying at all. Period. Number one, I know what it's like. And then number two, I understand what a person is going through in their mind when they're doing it, when they're bullying other people. Bullies don't feel good about themselves. So what I do, I give one or two choices. Get the heck up out of here, or you need to start learning some skill that make you feel good about yourself. This has been the history of school. And you will be surprised how many people would leave. Take that bullying on somewhere else. Because one day, you're going to meet your match. And guess what would happen? Well, Miss Rhonda hadn't put him out. I have not put any. I think I may have put in the history of thousands of kids, I think I put maybe 3 kids out. 3. I don't put kids out. I give the parents an option. Get it together or take them out. I don't have to put you out. These are the rules. These are the expectations. You expect something out of me. Let me tell you what I expect out of you. If you cannot adhere to these expectations, maybe this is not the school for you. I don't have to put you out. You go down the list and you realize you don't want to do it. You don't take them out. But then they'll go somewhere where if something happened to the kids, well, Miss Rhonda hadn't put them out. No. You didn't want to listen to the expectations and you didn't want to hear to them. So you took your kids out. Now you're stuck. Do I wish you any bad luck? No, I don't. You made a choice that you thought was best for your family. But of course, you like to blame. People love to blame, except for taking responsibility for the actions that they've done. So I'm going to give you guys an option to, today we're going to talk a little bit more. Did you guys work on your mate list last night?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Your potential mates?
We could have worked on it more.
Yes, you could have. I told you, think about what your future, because eventually you're going to narrow, because eventually you may have a list of 30 things that you want in a mate.
Especially at this
But I'm going to show you how to narrow it down to your 5 must-haves that you refuse to compromise on ever. So anytime you meet somebody, as you're getting older, these are the ones that you don't compromise on. Yes. Yeah, because anything you compromise for, you lose. So if you say that you're a believer and you want someone who believes in Jesus Christ, but you got somebody, yeah, but you meet somebody, they're totally Gothic, and they tell you they just a second, they tell you they serve the devil. But because they look good, because they have money, because they like you, do you compromise that?
Nope. No. I'm sorry.
But how many people will? So that has to be on your must-have. Must-have. You know what? I will not. You know what? You have different people that have different, they call them sects. S-E-C-T-S. Different parts of being Protestant or something like that. But they don't eliminate Jesus. So you can work with them, right? If that's on your list. So you don't have to be in the same church, Antonio. You don't have to stand up if you're going to sleep. If you don't have to be in the same church. You don't have to be in the same. That doesn't matter. But your belief system must have to be somewhere close together. That's how you want to raise your children. That's how you want to raise your family. That's how you want to do that.
Okay, let's say I have my 5 things on my list. Could I give more description to this?
Yes. You give more meaning to it. What do they mean to you? What do they mean to you? Okay, as I'm getting older, I've always liked muscular men.
Yes.
And I've always had muscular men, right? I've always had some guys had to washboard abs. Now I had a few mishaps. I dated a couple guys that looked like they were pregnant. And, I was willing to work with a brother. I'm willing to work with a brother. But I'm noticing that as I get older, I'm in my 50s, that's probably going to come with the package. I'm getting a little I got some cortisol around my belly that comes from the stress. But I'm working on it.
Okay.
My thing is this. If it's there, I want somebody working on it. Don't just go and just buy a maternity shirt and just stick there. Listen, boo, we're going to work together, because that belly is also a sign of you not being as healthy. So I don't want to marry you and then you're out of here. Let's work on that belly together. It may not come all the way down, but let's walk some. Let's walk a couple 5Ks. Let's do a few things. You see what I'm saying? To make sure we keep things moving. It may not, I don't require washboard abs anymore, because I don't have them. But for 20 some years, I've been a size, for that matter, almost 30 years, I was a size 4.
Well, then is it wrong? Let's say you have just a little bit of belly though, but they don't. Is it wrong to want something like that still? Or is that like...
Oh, you have a right to request what you are.
Yeah, but is that what's name though? Because is it really giving the same of what they may want or something like that?
This is the thing. Whatever you want is what you become. We attract who we are. Sometimes you have not manifested who you really are yet. But that doesn't mean it's not who you are. Sometimes it's not the manifestation of it. Because it could be the circumstances that you're in or something like that. But we attract who we are. A lot of people are having problems. I don't know how I end up marrying this person. I know how.
Because you married.
You attracted what you were. And that's why you're married. But then this is what happens. Sometimes in the relationship, somebody will switch up and change their mindset. When it changes the mindset, it changes the dynamics of the relationship. So that's why you see a lot of people, bless you, that go into court and they divorce based on irreconcilable differences. That means when we came together, we had something that was in common that brought us together. Now that thing is not there anymore. My mind is different, their mind is different. You got some people that will not date, they're vegetarians and they will not date somebody who eats meat. Is that wrong? Absolutely not. They don't want no meat in their house. They want some, they have come up with an idea that meat eaters are certain types of people and certain things that are going on. They dedicated their lives to not eating meat, only eating vegetables. That's their lifestyle. That is their mindset. They don't want that messed up. Guess what? There's somebody else out there with that same mindset. But that person may be a vegan or they may be a vegetarian or something like that, but they may be a person that loves a lot of carbs. So they may be a full vegetarian that may be 400 pounds because they like donuts. They like bread. They don't eat meat at all, but they like pasta.
See, that would
And they don't exercise.
Because there's a, what's there?
So you have to be careful.
You have a downside to what you wish.
Right. So that's why you want to make sure that that very thing is that thing at the top of the paper is important. Because other than that, you can screw everything up.
Not evil.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to click this video off because it's been over 40 minutes, and I'm going to let you guys I'm going to give you guys your assignment so we can get to work and get to the day. Yes.